Welcome to Business Focus, a production of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, LJ Wilson, and today I have Mark Ingrayo, the President and CEO of the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here, LJ.
Well, I have here that you're going to tell us some major issues that will be discussed in this year's General Assembly.
Sure.
Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So as a lot of people may or may not know, the General Assembly starts the second Wednesday in January, and this is a short session. The General Assembly is has a biennium budget. So this is the second half of that budget, so it'll be a short session. And there are some major issues that are going to be addressed this year, not the least of which is ethics, with the trial of Bob McDonald, former governor, and the sentencing that will happen in very, very early this month. That'll be one of the major topics of discussion for the legislators in the General Assembly. So something that's very concerning to the chambers, because they're looking to put a very strict limit on how much a contribution can be to an individual,
Wow.
which includes going to a lunch that we would perhaps put on for them so that they could tell our constituents what's going on in the General Assembly. So that would mean that we wouldn't have the ability to do that. So we're concerned about, right now, the number that was floated was $100 maximum that a company could give, or an organization could give. And we're going to try to make that a little bit larger so we can invite people to lunch and we could have them talk to our constituency. So that's the first issue. The second issue is the budget shortfall. Virginia right now is suffering from a budget shortfall, and the General Assembly, since we have to have a balanced budget every year in the General Assembly, they have to deal with that shortfall. So what items will be cut, what initiatives will be cut, what programs will be cut, something that we're going to be looking at as a business community. And then third is the Medicaid issue. That's something that's been going on now for a couple years. Once Obamacare got passed, now the states have to address that. Last year, the General Assembly did not address it, even though the Chamber is in favor of expanding it to cover the over 400,000 people that are not covered by health insurance right now.
Wow. So, well, thank you, Mark, for informing us about that.
Sure.
The other thing I want to talk to you about, and I want to know, the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce is part of the Northern Virginia Chamber Partnership. Can you tell me more about that?
Sure. So about 5 years ago, I came here 6 years ago. 5 years ago, we partnered with the Loudoun Chamber and the Dulles Chamber to represent all of the businesses along the corridor. So between the three chambers, we represent 2,800 companies and over 100,000 employees. So we're the largest business block represented in Richmond. And we hired a firm, Access Point, to represent us in Richmond. So we collectively come together as the three chambers. We identify the topic areas that we want our lobbyists to concentrate on, either proactively or reactively, in terms of just monitoring what's going on in the General Assembly. And we have them report back to us on that. So it's a partnership that's very unique in the Commonwealth. You don't see many chambers partnering on advocacy issues. And we find that it's really been a benefit to our chambers and to the Northern Virginia area, because now what we're finding is when we go down to Richmond to talk to legislators, we have downstate legislators that want to talk to us because we represent such a large voting block for them that if they want to get things passed, they need our legislators. So they come to us and ask us to go to our legislators for items that they're concerned about for downstate. So it's been great. We've been able to take our members down to Richmond. We have 1 or 2 days where we go down and we meet with leadership. So we meet with the Speaker of the House, we met with the governor, and we've met with the lieutenant governor and some of the chairs of the committees down there, so that our members can hear straight from them what's happening in the General Assembly, and more importantly, those legislators can hear from our business members what's important to them and what they want to see passed in the General Assembly. So it's been a great partnership. It's something that we're very, very pleased about, and we hope to continue into the future because it really does help represent the business community in Richmond.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Mark, can you tell me what are some of the pressing local advocacy issues that the Chamber will be dealing with in 2015?
Yeah, I think primarily, LJ, it's around the metro. So, what will happen with regard to the streets and the street grids around the metro. Right now we have one station in Reston, and that's at Wheelie, but we'll have the station open at Town Center in 4 years. So one of the things that the business community wants to make sure is that we have the ability to move commerce around the stations and around Reston. We also want the ability to have our residents be able to get to
Absolutely.
our businesses. So we're going to be working very closely with our local Board of Supervisors. Kathy Hudgens is our representative here, and we're going to be making sure that we have a grid system that works to the metro, away from the metro, so that everybody can move pretty comfortably around the metro station, and we can get goods and services to our businesses and their clients as well.
So with that in mind, I wanted to ask you, what are some things that people can expect from the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce this year?
Well, that's a great question. I know you had our chairman up on
Yes.
earlier, and she went through some of the major initiatives, which are great, and I really applaud her for coming up with those. But we're all about business growth, so we want to be there for the different industry sectors. So we have a really robust government contracting segment. It's a committee, and we have a real good series around that. We have a really good series around our legislative activities, which we've talked about already. We also have a series with our restaurants. So we're doing Restaurant Week, Northern Virginia Restaurant Week at the end of March. So we're putting programs in place that will help our businesses grow. And that's what it's all about, right? Having the businesses grow and be vibrant. And this is a great community for that to happen.
Well, Mark, I'm really happy to have you here today. And is there anything else that you'd like to tell our community about your mission as the president?
Sure. One of the things I like to say about our chamber is we're a chamber with a social conscience. So we advocate for business issues, but we do it in a way where we are collaborative with our fellow community groups and residents around Reston. So we partner with RA and RCC and all of those groups. So I'd just like to say that the business community is here to represent the business community, but we can do it in a way that is collaborative.
Well, Mark, I'm very happy to have you with us today. Again, I was speaking with Mark Ingrayo, the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, and I'm your host, LJ Wilson.